To help me now talk about the world of payments and FinTech on BSV, I want to welcome to the stage three great founders of BSV Ventures. They are Alex Agut, who is the CEO and co-founder of HandCash, as well as Daniel Lipshitz. And Alex comes to us from Spain by way of Andorra. And then Daniel Lipshitz comes to us from Israel. He is the CEO of a company called GAP600 and a new company called Change Digital Commerce. And also to the stage is the head of our BSV Hub for the Middle East and South Asia, and also the chief mate of a company called InvoiceMate, Muhammad Salman Anjum. Give them a round of applause, guys. Thank you. So, hi Alex, welcome to Dubai. This is Alex's first time in Dubai. What do you say? What do you say in Espanol?
It's great, they've been lying to us in my whole country. In my country, this is the real first world.
Yes, the real first world, not España. So what we're going to do is have each of these fine gentlemen do a very short overview of their companies and products and how they use BSV to make a better world. We're going to start with Alex once we get his presentation up. Steve, when you get a chance, can I get his presentation up? Meanwhile, we'll just, we'll have Muhammad talk briefly about what you've been doing with BSV to grow here in the Middle East and South Asia.
Yeah, good day everyone. I started as a permission blockchain expert, and it was like a couple of years we were doing that, using that for government applications and enterprise application. Then in one event, I found Jimmy, who introduced me to the BSV, and I saw all of what he showed to you in the last his presentation. And we actually started using BSV since then, and it's literally getting huge power to our own development and plus our users as well. Yeah. So yes, whatever he showed to you in the last presentation, we've been living it. We have been providing it to our clients for the last 1+ year.
Right. And your company was using Hyperledger, which is a very common ledger choice that a lot of companies and governments want to explore. Can you compare and contrast what the experience or qualities of BSV versus Hyperledger are for your type of FinTech application?
Yeah, first of all, there is always a permission blockchain been getting a favor because of two reasons. One, it is like sovereign when it comes to the control within the organization, and B, it's the cost of transaction, which is nothing when it comes to the permission blockchain. Now, the second part is very beneficial when we use BSV blockchain. You saw that, yes, 1/100th of the 1 cent, that's the cost of per transactions. One project been referred here for the Sindh police in Pakistan. We've been this has been deployed since October last year. Till now, it's not been costing us $100 for the whole transaction fee. So that is the power of this blockchain, that the transaction fee gets very, very low. And B, if you want to partner with the ecosystem, there is an ecosystem partner that named as TAL, and they can also give you a fixed number of transactions for a fixed number of time. That's also a big issue with the CFOs. They don't want to use public blockchains because they don't have a visibility on the budgeting. So if you have a budgeting visibility, you have to have this BSV on your applications.
And Alex, so you operate a mobile wallet that allows people to send and receive BSV instantly to each other. What's the typical transaction fee that is paid to the network when you send one of these micropayments like I showed?
Oh, it's way below what you said in your presentation.
It's way below, even less.
Typically, it's like 0.0003 USD per transaction.
Okay.
So it's basically free.
Basically free, yeah. We're getting slides up, right, Steve? Yeah, in a second. All right. Daniel, so you have been working in one business, but you're launching a stablecoin business, right? Tell us about that in 2 seconds.
Yes, so we've launched a company called Change Digital Commerce, based out of Zug in Switzerland. And what it's fully focused on is a stablecoin issuance platform. And we're building it fully exclusively on Bitcoin SV.
And why, compared to the other chains that have stable coins?
Well, the primary reason is that we view Bitcoin SV as the original design of Bitcoin. And not that that's just a novelty. That has far-reaching implications. Because the actual infrastructural design of Bitcoin SV has by far better capability of scaling and better capability of being stable than anything else that we've seen in the market. And if you're interested in supporting global adoption and building products that is mass used, scaling and stability is of critical importance. And so we see an explosion of use cases in BSV, and we want to support a methodology of payments in a medium of exchange that everyone's comfortable with.
All right, so we're going to go to Alex in a second. After I mention Minute Money, this is a remittance product by a company in South Africa called CentB, which uses the BSV ledger as rails to actually make more efficient the cost of sending money across borders, which can be 6 to 8% in some remittance products. Their cost a flat amount of 50 Rand in South Africa, about $3.25 US cent to send any amount because they have to take a fee, and they have enabled this across 7 to 8 African countries to increase the efficiency of sending payments. So Alex, tell us about HandCash.
Yeah. We started HandCash because we wanted to use Bitcoin like 7 years ago in the startup we had back then. But we realized it was so complicated to implement. It was very difficult for users, and you had all these geeky things like the 12 words, confirmations, waiting
seed
time.
words. I hate seed words.
Everybody hates them. So basically, what we did was we started this startup with the vision of building Bitcoin for the rest of us, and that not only included making it easier for users but also for developers, because it was very hard to integrate. So with HandCash, you can integrate payments into any app or game. And the coolest thing is that because the Bitcoin BSV blockchain is so cheap to run, we can offer for the first time ever micropayments to companies. And it's very cool because there are a lot of companies that are leaving a lot of money on the table because they don't have these tools. So for example, I bet that all of you have had this experience. You are on Twitter, you see that there's a trending article or the New York Times or whatever, and you enter and realize, all of a sudden that it's a premium article, and it asks you for a monthly subscription to read the article. So you're leaving money on the table by not offering the chance to the user to just pay 10 cents to read the article.
Right.
And so right now we offer an SDK for integrating your micropayments inside your apps and games. And we have also a HandCash app gallery, which is the way we call it. And this helps with the distribution, so your HandCash users will find your app easy. And we have all kinds of apps. For example, this is great for gambling sites. This is great for social media, for video games, for sports betting. Yeah. There's a lot of apps. And it's very, very cool to get started with HandCash. And we added the top up with credit card feature, which is something that was in very high demand. And the reason we didn't do it before is because we had to deal with crypto companies. And the problem with crypto companies is that they are used to the old ways of doing things and slow payments and confirmations and stuff. So we had to build our own, and in about 45 seconds, you can top up your wallet with a credit card and start using it into these apps and games.
Yeah, I've tested it. It's good. Yeah, it helps solve the issue of needing to onboard to an exchange, which takes a while and get verified. If you want someone to start using your app, your game right away through their HandCash app, they can just start with a credit card.
It's because if we are removing complexity for users, it doesn't make any sense that we have to send them elsewhere to an exchange to deal with all the complexity we already removed.
Right. So HandCash, the most user-friendly mindset in the Bitcoin business, I think. All right. Daniel, tell us about Change and how you're going to change digital commerce.
So as I mentioned, we're a Swiss-based company focused on stablecoin issuance. Our vision is to bring the transactional efficiencies that Bitcoin SV provides and bring that towards commerce and financial activities. We're focused on mass adoption. We're only interested in everyday use and everyone, to be short. So for us, being regulatory compliant is of critical importance. We're focused and interested in listing as many currencies as possible, as long as we can find a relevant partner in a relevant jurisdiction. We're building on BSV, and I'd like to mention the protocol we're mentioning on, which is the STAS protocol. And it's an extremely unique protocol in what we call the blockchain industry, or can be referred to as crypto. It's extremely relevant because it's completely on-chain and it's completely in Bitcoin. And that has far-reaching capabilities just from its stability and its security and scalability, because Bitcoin in its original design is phenomenally scalable, despite what you've been told. We're focused on working with partners, as I mentioned, working in jurisdictions with local partners. We're looking at servicing first-tier applications and exchanges, and for them, enabling them to bring as much value as possible to their end users. Thanks.
All right, now Muhammad is going to tell us about how his product makes the invoice process and payment system easier.
Yes, been in the space for 5 years and always been coming from a corporate background. I was searching for some pain points which blockchain can solve in the real businesses. So invoices, as we know that there are always some issues with the vendors and clients having some discrepancies, for example, duplication, sometimes losing the invoices. There is always an inefficiency, and the pain points relevant to the insecurities at trust level on the invoicing processes. That's not enough. That's not it. Like it. There are more issues with the invoicing. For example, crypto payments are coming in, but there are no invoicing platforms to issue invoices in crypto, receive invoices in crypto, and then of course settle them in crypto as well. So, which is a big concern in this world now. We, coming up with this InvoiceMate, are trying to solve all of this ecosystem through the invoicing ecosystem or platform powered by BSV blockchain. So from invoice generation to its processing, which takes sometimes a longer than usual and on a non-digitized platform, and especially non-blockchain platform. And then the validation for the payment part, or in some cases, the financing part, which is again something very big. So we are coming up with the new concept known as Know Your Invoice. So that is useful for the banks, that is useful for the financial institutions to know their invoice which they need to, they are going to fund or they are going to finance a factor. So this is a big mate for their invoice factoring process. This is how we are doing it. We are bringing the whole ecosystem which is involved in the invoicing, the accounting staffs, the different relevant functions who are approving the invoices in the organization, our cross-organization, then the banks or financial institutions which are involved to fund or finance the invoices. So the whole ecosystem is on this InvoiceMate, which is integrated with the legacy systems of theirs and also with their other banking systems as well. We are using blockchain BSV for a purpose, of course, because of the low transaction fee, because of its fast speed and scalability as well. This is our one of the case study I'm showing on screen, which is the Salik, Saudi Agriculture and Livestock Investment Company. They've been using it, and there are different users like suppliers, approvers, accounting staff, leadership. They're all using it for different purposes and getting benefits out of using the InvoiceMate. For today's AIBC Summit, we are offering a free download, and you can download it for free. All our AIBC delegates are welcome to do the downloads.
Free download. Leave the slide up. Free downloads. Alex, where's your free download? No free download for you? Your app's already free to download, so.
There will always be.
Yeah. So now we've talked about all the great things about BSV. There's some great benefits of it. That's why all your companies have chosen to build on BSV. But let's talk about some of the misconceptions that people face when you tell them you're working on BSV. What are they, and how do you address them?
Typically, it's because all of this Twitter drama about the forks and stuff.
Twitter drama, yeah.
So, but it's meaningless for, if you talk to companies, they only want something that really works and that it's proven. They don't want to be beta testers for the new blockchain technology that's around.
Right, yeah.
So I guess with Bitcoin SV, the cool thing is that it's been around since the inception of Bitcoin. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
we just remove the limits.
Yeah, basically the ledger history dates back to the same Genesis block of BTC, and it's a split chain. We won't debate who forked from who, because that's a whole debate, but it has the same properties and security. Daniel, what about you? As you're building your business, how do you address the questions about BSV?
I would agree further with what Alex is saying, is that when you speak to enterprise-focused and mass adoption-focused services, who are less focused on the speculative side of blockchain and cryptocurrency, they're really just interested in can it perform, how it can perform. We've had some discussions here with integrators from Asia, from Africa, who were interested. I would say definitely the major misconception that everyone has about Bitcoin is that it doesn't have computational capacity, it doesn't have tokenization capacity. The use case of data integrity, of data auditability is not fully aware. And the initial design of Bitcoin as implemented by BSV has those aspects fully front.
Yeah, so let me underline that, reinforce that. I hear this all the time. People say, oh, I didn't realize you could do tokens or smart contracts on a Bitcoin blockchain. You can. I didn't realize you could have all this data on a blockchain. You can with Bitcoin. And the reason people have this misconception is, setting aside the political debates between the Bitcoin chains, the Bitcoin core protocol developers that took control of the BTC chain made choices to restrict the data capacity, so it was harder to do things like tokens and smart contracts on Bitcoin, which is what led to the birth of Ethereum, because Vitalik and founders wanted to actually build that on Bitcoin, but could not. They restricted or turned off certain features in the opcodes, the scripting language, which is the primitive scripting language of Bitcoin, so that it was harder to do smart contracts and tokens. It was possible, but much, much harder. What we did when the chain split is not just scale bigger for bigger data and cheaper fees, but restored. We spent years of work restoring carefully much of the original protocol and power of the Bitcoin scripting language and opcodes, so that now bright entrepreneurs and developers are launching a smart contract language, computational applications on Bitcoin, because it was always possible. We believed in it even though the Bitcoin core people did not. Muhammad. So Muhammad came to AIBC last year here in Dubai when we weren't here, mostly because of COVID. He lives here. And he then called me up afterwards and said, Jimmy, Muhammad is super well-liked and popular across all of the land. Anyone who meets him will respect, like him, very well known in the blockchain space here. He joined our BSV movement last year, and he came last year and said, people won't talk to me. My friends won't talk to me because I'm now representing BSV, even though I think it's the best blockchain. Why do you think that happened, and what have you done to address it? Because, I'll be blunt, it's a question people face, and it's because, to some people, BSV is controversial, when it shouldn't be.
Yes, indeed. It has been almost 10 months. The AIBC last time happened in May, and I remember that kind of a bash I received as a BSV head for the region, but I'm seeing the change, and that change is because of the good media. We are starting to gain, not buy. We are of course doing projects with renowned universities, renowned government institutions, and that's what bringing people to know BSV. The problem with BSV is people were not knowing what it is capable of. And finally now they have started with the interventions we are doing with academia, with the government institutions, that there is a good side to it, which is its performance, which is its technology. Yes, maybe there is a controversy, okay, that's a part, but technology and performance, you just see that, utilize that, and see how it can give you the benefit. And that's what we have gathered in last 1 year. The efforts has been there under you, and I think there is a fruit coming out of that, that in this AIBC, we are well received now.
Speaking of key local allies, one of ours just walked into the main stage area. That's Dr. Muhammad Al-Hamari from the University of Sharjah. You'll hear from him on stage tomorrow, but he's one of our key people who's joined our Blockchain Advisory Council for BSV. So let's give a word up to one of the most knowledgeable men in blockchain here in the UAE, Dr. Muhammad. We'll hear from him tomorrow. So in our final minutes here, what kinds of companies, partnerships, or maybe investors are you looking to meet and would like to collaborate while you're here at AIBC? Alex.
Oh, for what I've been seeing, gaming companies.
Gaming companies. Perfect for your wallet, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's great because
micropayments.
In HandCash, we have a lot of users that are really active with their games that we have, and I think there are many of these companies that we have over here that are using some technology that's kind of experimental, or they're waiting for a layer 3 or whatever to work.
Layer 3, we're at layer 3 now.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that BSV has been working since inception.
Yeah.
And we have developers that are making money, so they don't care if you don't like BSV or whatever, because users don't mind. And it's a great platform for gaming. Yeah, so yeah. If anybody here that has a gaming company, just come to me and we'll talk.
Gaming companies, talk to Alex Agut, HandCash, and his co-founder, Rafa Jimenez Iban, back there. All right, Daniel, who are you looking to meet with and collaborate with here?
So we're looking to meet with banking partners, ideally Swiss banking partners. So that's a primary use or strategic partnership for us. I would also say we're looking for investors, not venture investors, but actual yield investors to support our growth as we expand. And that's our primary sourcing.
Got it. And then when your stable coins are issued, which you say are going to be in a lot of the leading world currency, right? British pound, US dollar, euro, maybe UAE dirham. Where do you want those distributed? What types of companies would you want to engage with? Exchanges, payment service providers? Where would they go?
So we're focusing on utility and actual use and all sorts of capabilities which require transactions, less so as opposed to speculation. Mm-hmm. So exchanges do play a role.
No, I'm sorry.
So exchanges do play a role, but we'd look for partners like HandCash, InvoiceMate, or even obviously companies completely outside of the BSV space, because there rarely is capacity to integrate it without even knowing that you're using BSV.
Can I add something?
Sure.
The cool thing is that if by us working together, nobody's even going to notice that we are using BSV. And
because consumers don't care, right? Like one day, if people are using a digital dirham, a digital US dollar, the average consumer, people here fight over blockchains, but at a mass adoption level, nobody cares what blockchain's on. They just want money to go in and out of their wallet, and they want to play a game or read a newspaper article when they want to read it. So choose the most efficient. Mohammed, what are you looking for in terms of business partnerships or alliances here?
Yeah, first of all, for the InvoiceMate, the financial institutions who want to know more about their invoices, which they are financing or factoring. And of course, as MateSol, which is the mother company of InvoiceMate, we are now coming into the gaming, and in I think few minutes from now, our partner company, GameStorm Studio, will be coming up. And I think there is much about gaming in this arena, and looking forward for that.
Okay, I think on that we can wrap up this panel. Please give this gentleman a big round of applause for their contributions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.